Here in Shropshire, quite an obscure county. It almost sounds a bit magical, doesn't it? Like, like kind of something, from centuries ago. A forgotten county, Shropshire. But yeah, I'm here for a month in Iron Bridge, which is a small, quaint, touristy town, and we're 40 miles from Birmingham, about 20 miles from Wolverhampton and not far from Shrewsbury, also not far from the Welsh border here. It is, the Midlands, and you've got Telford just up the road, a few miles up the road, and there is no specific accent here. There's no official accent. A lot of people have no accent in Shropshire, even though it's close to Wales and very close to Wolverhampton and Birmingham. But quite a lot of people do have an accent around here, and that's the sort of West Midlands stroke Brummie accent. I appreciate, somebody just told me earlier there's a difference between the Wolverhampton and the Brummie accent. I sort of knew that, but I'm not clear on the difference. But yeah, my mum actually, she mentioned that the Wolverhampton accent is softer. But yeah, focusing on the Brummie accent, which is broadly speaking what many people around here in Telford and Ironbridge have, here in Shropshire, the it almost sounds like they're singing to you when they're talking. It almost sounds tuneful and melodic, even if they're annoyed or even if they're expressing something negative or they're unhappy or angry. It still sounds like singing, still sounds melodic. um, and this is a strange thing. It's almost like if somebody was going to be annoyed with you or express disapproval or be angry or in a bad mood in the Brummie accent, it wouldn't sound quite so bad. Or certainly to people from other parts of the country who, to non-Midlands people, because I actually feel like a foreigner here. I mean, I'm from Bournemouth on the south coast, and I feel like a foreigner in the Midlands. It does feel like going to a different country in a way, even though obviously it's England. It does feel like going to a different country. It's different. They are different. It's different people, different history, different vibe, and of course the accent has got a lot to do with that. But yeah, what's your favourite accent? My favourite accent is the Merseyside or Scouse accent, Liverpool accents. I love them all. It's just something about the Scouse accents for me. They really, it's just, yeah, I don't know what it is. I've got this fascination. This, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people hate the Scouse accent, don't they? But for me, it's just gorgeous. Even the rougher ones. Because obviously there are various different Scouse accents. But back to the Brummie accent. What do you think of the Brummie accent? Are you from the Midlands yourself? And yeah, to me as a southerner, it sounds like they're singing to me. You know, whenever they're talking, everything sounds friendlier, even if they're not happy, even if they've got something negative to say. It still sounds friendlier and warmer in that accent. But obviously, people with that accent, with the Midlands accent, West Midlands accent, they wouldn't see it the same way because that's what they've grown up with, and other people have got the same accent as them, so maybe they don't see it the same way. But it's what do you think? I'd like your opinion on what is the truth about the character of people in the Midlands and in the North. I mean, obviously, sweeping generalizations here, but they always say, don't they, that the further north you go, so once you get to the Midlands and then the north of England, the further north you go, when moving up from the south, the friendlier and more approachable, more down to earth people are. And I feel that this is true to some extent. Obviously, it's a sweeping generalization. I do feel it is true to some extent. I feel people in the Midlands are less phased by things than people in the South, a bit more open, a bit more relaxed about things that maybe would stress people out in the South. I don't know. Just yeah, maybe more yeah, just more approachable and a bit more open. Obviously not everybody, but as a generalization, I do feel that to be true. Um, but is that because do I have that perception because of the accent? Because the accent sounds melodic and pretty to me. Does that make me think people are friendlier and more open, more approachable, or are they in fact? What do you think? What's the truth about this? Because accents can kind of distort your view of people in different from different parts of the country because the accent is fascinating. It's pretty if you've got a different accent, and it's fascinating and charming. So you might think that people are friendlier and nicer because they've got this accent, which is very different from mine, or very different from a southern accent. So are people friendlier up north in the Midlands and as you go to the north of England, or is it just because of the accent and maybe partly because this old thing with human beings, the grass is always greener on the other side of a hill, the grass is greener somewhere else. Um, so, what do you think? How true is it that people are generally friendlier, more helpful, more approachable as you get to the Midlands and the north of England? My intuition is that it's generally true. You could discuss the historical roots of that and the reasons for that, how it's like that, why there's such a difference between the psychology, the character of the southern England and the mentality of the Midlands and the North. Um, we could discuss that, couldn't we? Why is that in history? How has it got like that? What are the roots of that? Um, but yes, do you think it's true, or do you think it's a cliche, a myth, or do you think it's very generally true as a generalization, but not to be read too much into? Or do you think it's because of the accent? Are you from the north? Are you from the Midlands? Do you find people less friendly? Do you find people colder in the south of England? And yeah, back to the Brummie accent. It's almost hard to imagine somebody being annoyed or angry or frustrated or upset in a Brummie accent because somehow it doesn't sound so bad as those sentiments would, as those feelings would in a southern accent. Somehow in a northern accent or a Midlands accent, or it doesn't sound so negative, doesn't sound so bad. It's almost like it'd be impossible for um, a Brummie or West Midlands person with their accent to be annoyed. You just, um, yeah. So, what's your favourite accent? I said mine's Scouse. I adore it. Probably London and Essex as well. And yeah, I do love those two. Um, but and are you a Brummie yourself? Are you from the Midlands? What do you think about the stuff that we've talked about in this video? So yeah, I think I'm. Let's have a look at the time. Yeah, it's yeah, getting on for 10 minutes now. So wrap this one up. So are people in the Midlands and the North friendlier, nicer, more approachable, or is it a myth and a cliche? Are people in the South not so approachable, less friendly, colder? What do you think? And or do you think it's because of the accent? Um, and anyone who's got a different accent, automatically becomes more charming, because their accent's different from yours. So whether that be Scottish or Geordie or Scouse or Welsh. Um, Incidentally, very briefly, the Scouse accent, I found out the last few years, it's fascinating how accents have evolved over the centuries, isn't it? And it's such a fascinating science, isn't it? Languages and accents and all that. But yeah, the Scouse accent actually formed. So try and get your head around this from a mixture of Welsh, um, Irish, because Liverpool's right on top of Wales, and very close to Ireland, just across the water from Ireland, and loads of Liverpudlians are Irish people originally. So it's a mixture, it's a fusion of Irish, Welsh, and a bit of Yorkshire as well, a bit of Northern. So get your head around that. That's where the Scouse accent forms from, where it originates from. It's a mixture of a bit of Yorkshire, a bit of Welsh, because they're right on top of Wales, and a bit of Irish, just across the water from Ireland, and loads of Irish people in the 19th century came to Liverpool. So a lot of Scouse people are originally Irish. So yeah, try and put those three together: Irish, Welsh, and Yorkshire, and that's how you get the Liverpool Scouse accent. Yeah, okay, yeah, all comments welcome. Do love reading all your comments and opinions. See you next time.